The Society of the Blind of Uzbekistan is a non-governmental, non-profit organization based on voluntary membership of people with visual impairments, the purpose of which is to protect the rights and interests of the blind, provide them with social support, rehabilitation, social integration, and promote equal rights and equal life opportunities. The history of the society is just over 90 years old. On June 15, 1932, at the initiative of a group of active blind citizens living in our country, the Constituent Congress was convened, and the creation of the Society of the Blind of Uzbekistan was announced. The society includes the central administration, 14 territorial branches in the Republic of Karakalpakstan, the city of Tashkent, and 12 regions, 194 local branches in cities and districts, 59 educational and production enterprises, 2 recreation centers, 3 subsidiary farms, a cardio-neurological sanatorium Yangiyul, the editorial office of the Bursafda magazine, Sanat Gulshana LLC, as well as 25 subsidiaries at regional branches. In total, about 300 enterprises, organizations, and institutions are involved in the system. Today, out of 76,020 blind people in our country, 64,244 people are registered with the society. The total number of employees of them is 2,987 people, of which 1,539 work at the enterprises of the Society for the Blind. According to the report for 2022, the total amount of gratuitous assistance provided to blind people, including material, amounted to nearly 6.5 billion sums, of which the amount of money, almost 3.5 billion sums, the amount of material resources, almost 3 billion sums. Within the framework of the events dedicated to the 90th anniversary of the Society of the Blind of Uzbekistan, in cooperation with the Agency for the Development of Medical and Social Services, 809 sound tonometers, 133 sound thermometers, 1,015 special folding canes were distributed to the blind people with disabilities. 9 people with disabilities were given crutches, 1 with a hearing aid, another with disability stroller, and another 479 of our blind compatriots were provided with other types of rehabilitation means. 455 vouchers to the cardio-neurological sanatorium Yangiyul were allocated. In the same place, 230 more elderly people in need of social support were able to restore their health under joint programs with the Nurani and Mahalla funds. 500 million sums were allocated for these purposes. Events in support of blind citizens, organized in connection with the 90th anniversary of the formation of the Society of the Blind of Uzbekistan, were widely covered in the media. So, for example, on September 27, 29, 2022, an action was held in Tashkent and Yangiyul under the slogan, "We are among the creators of New Uzbekistan." It was attended by about 160 members of the Society of the Blind, representatives of regional branches, as well as 22 foreign guests delegated by public associations of the blind in Russia, Belarus, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, and Tajikistan. At the same time, memorandums of mutual cooperation were signed with representatives of foreign countries who visited Uzbekistan. The main anniversary celebrations were held at the State Conservatory of Uzbekistan, and on November the 7th last year, a large charity gala concert called Qalb Kozila Olam Munavvar, with the participation of leading masters of the arts and gifted performers from among people with visual impairments. This action was dedicated to the World Day of the Blind, already celebrated on November 13, and International Day for the Protection of the Persons with Disabilities on November the 3rd. It is also appropriate to recall that the activities of the Society of the Blind of Uzbekistan, as well as visually impaired people with various talents, were dedicated to the documentary film created for the first time in our republic with sign language translation called Perceiving the World with a Spiritual Eye. It should be emphasized that in recent years the protection of the legitimate rights and interests of persons with disabilities has received increasing attention. The rights of disabled people to participate in the life of society and protect their interests are enshrined in more than 80 laws and other regulatory legal acts of the Republic of Uzbekistan, aimed at providing them with equal opportunities with other citizens in the exercise of civil, economic, political, and other constitutional rights and freedoms. On the rights of persons with disabilities and on ratification of the Convention of the Rights of Persons with Disabilities, New York, December 13, 2006, were developed and adopted, in particular, aimed at creating favorable conditions for the comprehensive rehabilitation of blind citizens. As an equal member of the Asian and World Associations of the Blind, the Society of the Blind of Uzbekistan in its daily activities strives to effectively solve its tasks of worthy protection and representation of the rights and interests of the visually impaired in government at all levels, as well as in non-governmental, non-profit organizations and self-government bodies of citizens, actively while facilitating internal policy implementation process for persons with visual impairments.